In many Muslim cultures even, it seems sometimes that the Milad is a more committed, colourful affair than the two Eids. And the traditions which have grown up around it, which aim to deepen love for the Messenger in the hearts of ordinary believers, are often very spectacular, very rich and very beautiful. Now, what happens when Islam is imported into the traditionally Judeo-Christian societies of the West? Well, frequently, this aspect of our beautiful heritage is frequently one of the first things to be neglected. A lot of mosques are adapting a kind of return to the sources type of Islam, which believes that celebrations such as the Milad are unnecessary, or even, in some cases, religiously unacceptable. I don't wish to enter here the very well-rehearsed argument over the Sharia status of Milad celebration. My own experience of study and travel in the Muslim world suggests that the complicated arguments can in fact very easily be bypassed by the observation that scholars and communities which cultivate a spiritual profundity are also those which recognize the legitimacy of Milad commemorations. Individuals and communities which reject Milad tend to live a fairly dry, uninteresting, superficial kind of Islam, which can never be more than second-rate. To those seeking not merely rigorous authentication from the revelation, but also a genuine devotional life, that Islam of the obsessive preoccupation with form and the neglect or even the denial of what lies beyond the form, the content, is simply not terribly appealing. While there are entirely legitimate Sharia reasons for the celebration of Milad, upheld by the large majority tradition within each of the four Sunni madhabs, we can, I think, therefore go on to propose a further kind of argument. Ask your heart, says a hadith, even if they give you fatwa after fatwa. Hence, when we look at the often very bewildering range of Islamic opinions clamoring for our attention today, we can apply a very simple principle. If a significant number of Sunni ulama are supporting a style of Islam, then its validity for us will depend on one thing, namely its effect on our hearts.
Mawlid Un Nabi al-Hadi sallallahu alayhi khaliq al-ibadi, the guiding prophet's birthday, upon him blessings of the creator of all servants. عام قدوم الفيل للأقوام بإثر 50 من الأيام, was in the year of the elephant's arrival to Quraysh, about 50 days after the event. So he was born in that year, which is generally recorded as 570 in the books of the Western books, and that's the. I mean, we can't. It's hard to know with absolute certainty if it was, but it was definitely 569, 570. Some will even say 571 or 2. So, and then he says, في يوم الاثنين من شهر الأغر في ثالث الشهر أو الثاني عشر. On Monday in the blessed day of month of Rabi' al-Awwal, the 3rd of the month or the 12th month, you'll get 8, 9, 10, 12. There's different opinions. The dominant and strongest opinion, it was on the 12th. And that's what, it's a national holiday in every single country, Muslim country, with the exception of one. But all the other Muslim countries have it as a national holiday to celebrate the Prophet ﷺ's birthday. And historically, it was celebrated with great fanfare throughout the Muslim world. The fact that the Mawlid has died down so much is, I think, a very bad sign, in fact, in the Muslim Ummah. That's my personal opinion. The Mawlid was an immense time of feeding people, of feeding the poor, of charity, of reading the seerah, of reading the shama'il, reciting qasaid, writing poems, delivering poems, visitations. It was a big time because people just felt the blessing of the Prophet, particularly in that month. But the Mawlid is celebrated throughout the year by people that celebrate the Mawlid. So it's not that they don't just celebrate it on Rabi' al-Awwal or the 12th, but literally will recite it. It's very beautiful to recite the Mawlid, and Barzanji's is certainly probably the best and most authoritative. Imam al-Kattani, which is the Moroccan Mawlid, has a beautiful Mawlid also recited in Morocco. But it's something that you really want your children exposed to, the Mawlid. It's important to celebrate the birthday of the Prophet ﷺ. The birthday, the Mawlid, if anybody tells you that it's a bid'ah, well, Surah Maryam is basically a Mawlid because it's relating the story of how Jesus was born. And that's what the Mawlid is doing. It's just you relate the story of how the Prophet ﷺ was born. That's all it is. It's looking at his story and celebrating it. Sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. بِطَارِعِ الْجَدِي وَكَانَ الْمُشْتَرِي. Okay, we did that. Any other question?
What was the Sahaba's tradition in terms of celebrating the Prophet's birthday?
Well, they celebrated his being every day and they didn't have any particular, no. There's no doubt that it was a later innovation in terms of doing it on the 12th of Rabi' al-Awwal. There's no doubt that is a bid'ah to do that. Now, depending on the school, bid'ah is not all bad. And that's the dominant school of the ulama, is that there are bid'ah hasana. Man sanna fil islami sunnatan hasana falahu ajruha wa ajru man amila biha. Whoever does a good sunnah in Islam, he has a reward for it. The Prophet also said, Man ahdatha fi amrina hadha ma laysa minhu fahuwa rad. The hadith of Aisha that Imam Nawawi relates, that whoever introduces into the religion what is not from the religion, then it's rejected. So the Mawlid celebration of the Prophet's birthday, for instance, a man asked in the Sahih collection, a man asked the Prophet about fasting on Monday, and he said, Fihi wuridtu. That's his answer. It is a good day. It's a blessed day. I was born on that day. We know that in the Sahih collection also that Abu Lahab, his punishment is actually lessened because he freed Thuwayba on the girl that brought him the news of the Prophet's birthday was freed. Abu Lahab was so happy that his brother had a son that he said, you're free, anti hurra. So he freed the girl. And the Prophet said because of that, because of his being happy of the Prophet's birthday, which is why don't say I don't celebrate the birthday. Because that could be kufr. Just the Prophet said people will say, Ruba ahadikum yulqi yatakallamu bi kalimatin la yulqi laha bala. Maybe one of you will say a word, he doesn't think of what it really means. وَتَجُرُّهُ فِي جَهَنَّمَ 70 خَرِيفًا. It will drag him in the hellfire for 70 years. Because he doesn't think of what it means. So to say, I don't celebrate the birthday of the Prophet, أعوذ بالله. I mean, what do you mean you don't celebrate his birthday? You have to. It's a fard to be happy he was born. If you don't celebrate it on that specific day, on the 12th of Rabi' al-Awwal, that's fine. That's a khilaf issue. The dominant opinion is it's permissible and mandub to do it, it's recommended. The other opinion is that it's an innovation and it's better not to do it, that's a valid opinion. The problem is we accept their differences, they don't accept our differences. So what can we do about it?